Hello, soul family. Thank you for joining me again today on Healing Disclosure. This is actually part two of a video series. So if you're just tuning in and you have not seen part one of Frequency and Earth, I ask you to pause this, go into the description box of this video, check out part one. It will make absorbing and digesting all this information much, much easier. And don't just blow through it. It's dense. It's a lot of information. So use that pause feature. Take notes. If you're one that communicates with your higher self, please confirm what you can with source. That's who I confirm my information with. It is always in my integrity to give you the most accurate information that I can receive and confirm. So without any further ado, let's go into part two of Frequency and Earth. The image I have behind me is probably the best one that symbolizes um, what we're going to talk about today. And it really symbolizes the Earth's ascension as a soul being. So I still encounter folks sometimes, and they're like, Earth is a soul? Yeah, yeah. Her soul, female, divine feminine, has ascended several times. Every time, except for this one, she's had an extinction event on the surface that made it a easier process because there's no living beings to be concerned with having ascension symptoms or being harmed from the ascension process. Well, we're making history. You've probably heard that before. It's actually very, very true. We're making history not just for this planet, but in the entire universe. We are the only place and the only culture, the only set of humanity that has been allowed to continue with the planet as she ascends. It's huge. And I'll tell you right now, I'm recording this between two massive waves of huge amounts of M class and X class energy that's coming in. And you can see that on the Schumann resonance. It literally felt like an anvil fell out of the sky and hit me on the head the last 2 days. All of a sudden, I had to go lay down and take a nap. It's very unusual for me. Like my old life prior to my energy clearing and activation, it was nothing for me to take a nap during the day, but I was chronically tired too. I no longer have that with the exception of these big, huge energy spikes. It causes fatigue. It causes headache. It's the activations that you're going through called ascension symptoms. So headaches, fatigue, ear ringing. My ears, specifically my right ear, has been ringing off the charts. And I ask my higher self for some mercy on that, and I get a little bit of dampening, and then it comes back up again. So it's all good. I just ask my higher self to open my chakras. That's my plan of attack. If I open my chakras wider, then the energy that's coming through can come through faster and we can complete the process faster. Not everybody's up for that because it's a lot. Like you just got to put yourself to bed and let ride the wave. But if you're getting really really sick with it, if it's like super nauseating or anything like that that makes you unable to eat, hydrate really, then you want to slow it down a little bit and you can ask your higher self to close your chakras like by 50%. And that should give you enough of a pause and those spikes of energy to give you the moments that you can hydrate and kind of, because it comes in waves, right? It's not a thing where you're like, oh yeah, I had my ascension energy happen today and now I'm no longer, like, I don't know, feeling it. I'm not done. It comes in waves and we do not have any control over it. And that being said, you want to make sure that you're doing what you can when you can. So ask your higher self for some reprieve on whatever symptom is really, really bothering you, especially if it's keeping you from hydrating or getting outside and grounding, because those things really are very, very helpful. And you can also do Epsom salt baths or Epsom salt foot soaps as much as helps you feel better. So we're picking up where we left off a couple of days ago, but last video. So we went through the basis of what is frequency and how does it rise, and that is actually the definition of your ascension. Ascension is a state of consciousness. With the earth having her own soul, she has her own state of consciousness. Okay. And where are we with that? So the reason why this became a two-part video process is because as I was doing my due diligence and researching, gathering information, and then confirming with my higher self, with source creator and other people independently that could also do the same thing, we learned that a lot of the information that's out there is outdated because earth is ascending. She's not stagnant. She's not in the same place and position or evolution that she was when a lot of these resources were created. And so I found this information incredibly motivating. Number one, like, progress is always good, in my opinion. But also, I thought, we as a ground crew and we as a people have been under the impression that a lot of the work that we're doing is to help Mother Gaia. And that's true. However, Mother Gaia is not the identity of New Earth. It's not the fifth dimension identity of our planet. And so I'm going to discuss all that today and hopefully give you things that also make you feel motivated and encouraged and that things are really, really happening. I know there's a lot of external chaos and dissension and division, and that is all by design. So please do your very, very best not to participate in that. That's actually not your reality. If you are on the ascension journey, if you are looking within and doing your shadow work and doing all the things, you're going to be with us. And so this message is for you. If you found your way here and you made it this far, this message is for you. Okay, so Kuna Matea is New Earth's name. Kuna Matea will have a rebirth of the original Lemurian soul. Mother Gaia's soul voluntarily sacrificed herself in that incarnation to allow the growth, the evolution, the ascension to Kuna Matea to complete. So how did that happen? Kuna Matea is an energy body, a very, very large, powerful energy body. This is why we ground and connect to Kuna Matea. This is why there's a flow of energy from source through us, our heart chakra, down to Kuna Matea's heart. The planet has chakras because there's a soul. Everything that's energy has energy vortexes and power points. Okay. So having the soul, she also has chakras. Most of these intersecting lines are the grids, or the vortexes, the ley lines, are home to some of the most powerful energetic vortexes and structures on the planet with palpable energy. To name a few that you may recognize are the sacred temples, Egyptian pyramids, Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, Angkor Wat, Göbekli Tepe, the Nazca lines, and sandstone cliffs. That's just a few. So behind me, you see these intersecting lines and the dots. So the dots are going to be considered your ley line vortexes, and the lines between them is the grid. The image you see, it's like a net structure, this grid structure up above, ascended from the surface of Earth. So Kuna Matea superimposed her form around Mother Gaia. Mother Gaia self-sacrificed her soul. That energy is going to reincarnate in a new and different planet at some time. The soul that was with original Lemuria is rebirthed and reincarnated now at Kuna Matea. That is our new Earth, fifth dimension planet. So this is a very, very good representation, because if you think of surface Earth as 3D, And then there's this palpable vibration of 4D around it. That's been the transition period. We're done with that by and large for the most part. And up above, the ascension is the fifth dimension. And this grid work is illustrating the expansion to fifth dimension. So China calls their ley lines dragon lines, right? Because dragon is their symbology of celestial and divine power. South America calls it spirit lines, which would be the Nazca lines. Australia is the dream lines, and that comes from the Aboriginals. And in the U.S., a lot of the Western culture, we call it the ley lines. All means the same thing. Interchangeable terms that all mean the same thing. Another fact is that where a lot of these structures on the planet and places on the planet, these very powerful vortexes, they line up with constellations, and that cannot be and is not. It is by design, by our wonderful, masterful creator source. Now, when we talk about the chakras, this is one of the things that was like an aha for me. I had information on what the chakras, where the chakras were from Mother Gaia. Where the Earth's chakras are now, some have migrated, some are the same. There's also stargates that are in areas of these powerful vortexes. And I'm going to go through that. So whenever we are connecting, like in meditation, I'm going to give a shout out to Divine Light Meditation. They are my go-to. They are the direct channelers for our Ascended Masters, Sanat Kumara, Yahshua, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin. A lot of our galactic races also channel through them. And so they are our go-to. That is my higher self guidance from source. Lots of times I'll throw a pondering something out there, and I ask for the message to be delivered. And oftentimes the next recommended video from Divine Light could be from 6 years ago. Exactly what I asked for. So you got to just be aware that we pay attention to the signs and the assistance that we have from our team, because that can come from literally any form and format. So Hunamatea's soul is the only earth soul available. If you're channeling Mother Gaia, that soul self-imploded, and the soul that you're actually connecting to, which is a continual overlap at this point, is the soul of Hunamatea. Hunamatea, and I actually confirmed some of this stuff with Huna, as he is a crew member and we are on the ship together all the time. The gates are the stargates. The gates are the portals. So the first part I'm going to go through is the 1 through 7 chakras. Where are they located? The first chakra of Hunamatea is the root chakra. Same chakra basis, just the location that's different. It's in Banff, Canada. Again, if you are in communion with your higher self, please confirm this information for you. I confirmed it 3 times before I ever thought to put it out to you. The second chakra for Hunamatea, the sacral, is Lake Titicaca. The third, which is the solar plexus, is Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, in the Olgas. The fourth chakra, the heart chakra, is in Peru, all of Peru. The fifth, the throat chakra, is the Great Pyramids, the Sphinx, and the Mountain of Olives, that entire location. The third eye, which is the sixth chakra for Hunamatea, is all of Afghanistan. The seventh chakra, which is the crown, is Glastonbury. So, in terms of gates, portals, at the first chakra, Banff, Canada, it's gate number 1. Second chakra, the sacral chakra in Lake Titicaca, is gate number 2. The third chakra, the solar plexus in the Olgas, is gate 3. The fourth chakra, the heart in Peru, is gate 4. The fifth chakra, the throat, it's the Great Pyramids, the Sphinx, and the Mountain of Olives, is gate number 5. That sixth chakra does not have a portal or gate now. It was taken over during the last dark times and was destroyed. Could not be salvaged and was destroyed. So gate 6 is the 7th chakra, the crown. Now, the rest of these I'm going to go through are just portals, stargates. They're not chakra locations, to the best of my knowledge. Gate 7 is the 4 mountains of Bali. Gate 8, Palenque and El Tul. Gate 9, Mount Shasta. Gate 10, the islands of Kauai in Hawaii. Gate 11, Lake Taupo, New Zealand. Gate 12, Table Mountain, Cape Town, South Africa. And gate 13 is significant. Gate 13 is Moscow. And gate 13 only opens when all of the other 12 are healthy and positively aligned. And I'm going to come back to that. So way back, when this planet was was inhabited by Anunnaki and other off-world or space races. And we had some, other beings on the planet. The Anunnaki were managing the grids, the ley lines, the portals, and the stargates, maintaining their polarity, maintaining their sovereignty, protecting them from corruption. All of the Anunnaki, I know you've probably heard misleading things, but as a race, there was a lot of good Anunnaki, just like all races. I've said this a bajillion times, all races have good and bad. So they were very diligent. Like they had assignments and missions that they were with these ley lines and portals. That was their life. They oversaw the ancient sites on Earth, which I listed. They activated them. They made sure the connection to the ley lines and the grid work was all remaining positive and not corrupted. Because with any grid work, you have disconnect in the grid, you have a break in the energy. So your energy does not flow congruently. It's localized and cannot help down the planet there. So that was their and there's always dark forces, right? So this was a constant thing. They would connect, others would disconnect. They would align, others would unalign and manipulate for their benefit. So this was a full-time job. Audek, which is an Anunnaki in the Galactic Federation of Light, is where I got this information from. It's his position with the Galactic Federation to oversee the rebirth, I guess is the best way to put it, the reconnection, the realignment of all of these chakras and stargates. He says that the work on the grid for Earth grids, utilize the ancient sacred energy. So when they're all connected, and this has been done in the past and will be done again in the future, the Earth's energy that is provided from Hunamatea, from the electromagnetic energy of the planet between the grids and portals, it will allow crafts to dock and navigate around Hunamatea using the power of Earth, not an outside source of power. So the amplified energy frequency of the Isis temples on the ley lines and the super sites and they require our protection. So back whenever I listed sacred sites over here on the different places and planes in the earth where you had actual structures like Stonehenge, sacred temples, as in reference to the Isis temples, we have learned that most of the hydroelectric dams across the world have been put in place to cover up Isis temples and harness the actual energy from the ley lines, the vortexes of the temple. It is not, it has just been amplified by the water. The water, the hydroelectric part of it, is a cover for the actual power being provided by the earth and is a money maker. So does several things. You flood the area, you're exerting power and oppression over people. You're decreasing the population in certain areas. You're removing a lot of light beings that have power that have navigated to these sacred temples. You're byproduct of that, you're decreasing the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because that's also where they've navigated to practice their education and their healing and help others. So that's been tampered with. And then you provide by way of, oh, look what we did. We dammed up all this water and now we can provide energy to the masses for a fee. So they've secured a solution for something that was free. That's what we've all been a part of. This is not just me or just you. This is humanity. This is what we're surviving. This is what we're thriving and coming through, leaving that behind. So that is why, as beings who go through their energy transformation, so you transform all the negative energy that's been thrown at you in your existence on the planet. We call it the 3D version, Mother Gaia with the gangster planet, super dense, very, very hard to exist here. As soul beings ascend and that frequency rises and they have that unity consciousness come in and they're losing their judgment and they're losing their, my nose is so itchy, I'm channeling. They're losing their push for duality and it's strengthening the push for unity. Their loving and compassion and empathy and kindness extend to all of Source Creator's beings as a natural byproduct of the ascension process. Crew members, my ground crew members, I won't speak for other ground crew members, but it is a natural byproduct of the process. So those enlightened souls want to help the planet. It just comes natural. They want to help the light beings on the planet. They want to help the animals. They want to help the foliage. They want to save the trees. I mean, these are real things that we in third dimension had no appreciation for their power and their sovereignty as soul beings that we now know are some of the wisdom keepers of this planet. Our trees, our dolphins, our whales, they came here to increase the frequency to Christ consciousness level while the humanity caught up. So when it's a natural progression that you want to help. You are then called, the messages start to come through. You're called to help realign. You're called to help connect these grids. It just comes through as a download. So our crew members have received many downloads guiding them to certain areas, countries, waterways, structures, star cities, waterfalls. There's some matter like hospitals and things like that get some attention, but it's really because that is, as an industry, that's not going to survive the way that we see it and know it now. So we're not spending a lot of energy on that. We're putting our energy toward the energy lines, the grid work, the ley lines. We're using guidance from our spirit team. What needs to be done, what's already done, it needs to be redone because the darkness has come behind us and undone our work. You see, they were for a very long time unchecked. Now We are pushing them in the chest. Get the F out of here. There's no room for you here. And we are cutting off their power. Now, is it without consequence? No. But I can tell you that all the whatever way as a result of working for the greater good only motivates us to do more. And we are divinely protected and we are divinely energized. And every time that we level up and we have more and more power, they don't really stand a chance. So don't worry about that. So the ground crew say, in our I received a download to clear blah, 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 because that gets confirmed. Then we take the steps that individual souls ask for permission from their higher self, is this in their highest and best good, to work on this today? If so, they get direction of what's best for them to do. And then their higher self, like, is the gatekeeper, right? They're like, okay, you can do this and you can do this, but you need to rest. Because it does take a considerable amount of energy, but we're so motivated and feel so connected to our mother in many ways and to our soul family in many ways that it's just the fire, right? It's just the thing that burns inside of us, that we as a people can actually help humanity now in this now moment. And so this is where we are. This is where we are in my ground crew. And I don't say that like we're the only ones, but I won't speak for other groups because I don't know what they're doing. I won't speak for other crews because they have different directives. For us, this is part of, not all, but part of what we're called to do. And it has had a very, very positive. So we disconnect all grids from any and all negative power. And what do I mean by that? Buckle up, Buttercup. So we disconnect from the powers of Satan, Lucifer, Baal, and Moloch. We disconnect those grids from old earth, because that is not where we want to be anymore, and connect it to new earth. We disconnect from all black magic, all sorcery, all spells, curses, negative implants, negative cords, negative entities, all the things that I clear a soul of, chakra blockages, like all of that. Huna Matea, Mother Gaia had a soul. That work is also done for their soul. Same. Much bigger scale, but same work needs to be done and has been done. So then we connect everything that is disconnected from positive or negative to then connect it to the positive, right? So that is the act of disconnecting, realigning, and allowing that energy flow for the greater good that was always there and being harnessed for bad. We now disconnect all of that and it is flowing for the good. Pretty cool, right? Again, I really want you to confirm all this with your higher self. We have and know our truth, but I don't want you to just take my word for it. You'll recognize on your own because it's so empowering. So once we're done with that, the next thing that we do, part of when they flood out and dam these Isis temples, a lot of those beings that gathered and lived in the area I mentioned before were the enlightened beings, right? The powerful beings, the beings that use their light for healing and the greater good. A lot of those beings were murdered. Those souls were then trapped in that position and that place, and their energy body, were through black magic held and their energy harnessed. So we release them. We release the trapped souls. We release lost souls. We release negative entities who have been fulfilling contracts that they did not want to do, but were not able to have free will choice. They are compelled. So we open the gates to the light and we cross them over. And we have crossed over and released trillions, trillions of souls. I'm extremely humbled to say. That came through for us as a crew. It came through me in March, late February, early March. And I had never done it before, and I started doing that. I did one video really discussing all of that, and it's the Nashville video. It's back in March. You can go back to my playlist and find it there. Super powerful. Nothing like it. And those with clairaudience are hearing, thank you, it's our time, let's go. And you just can't put it into words. So anyway, we do that. We assist in crossing over the lost souls, the trapped souls, and the negativities. We also clear souls that have been incarnated as animals and trees that are now ready to cross over into the light. They want to go into their whatever their next phase is. So you may ask, well, why don't they just do that? If they're of the light, why don't they just do that? They have to really have an energy body open the gate. And so by way of our ascension and by way of keeping our energy bodies clear, so everyone has gone through their energy clearing, and then we maintain our energy fields very, very clear. Our frequency, which is our power, is very, very high. And so we're able to do that. That's why I always ask for those that are interested in doing this work to ask their higher self, because a newer member may not have the frequency yet that can do all the things, but they can do some of the things. So it just depends. So this energy work helps release a lot of our ascended masters, like fractals of their soul that's been trapped. So parts of their souls are kind of all over, right? The ascended masters share their selflessly share their wisdom and their power and their skills with a lot of us in that energy body. But some of their energy and the fractals of their soul were harnessed in these temples. And so we're helping to recall lost soul fractals of ascendant masters like Hathor, Isis, Magdalene. So again, it's really hard to put into the English language using words how profound this is, but it is extremely helpful. The energy work is vital and appreciated by Hunamatea. This accelerates the timeline to full fifth dimension. So without our benevolent assistance helping to connect all these grids, this is a slower process because the planet can do it. And there are other workers that can do certain things in certain realms and certain dimensions. But obviously, the more that's working for this greater good, the better. So I say this, if you're thinking about stopping myself or this video content or the crew, just know that we're not the only beings working in this mission. Source Creator is extremely wise to your tactics. And while we get the downloads, we're not the only ones that get the downloads. We're not the only ones doing the work. The work's being done, and by and large is complete. And we will continue to monitor because we don't want to ever go back to. So old Earth equals Mother Gaia equals 3D. New Earth equals Hunamatea, fifth dimension. I ask you to really start using the right name. That's just a respect. Hunamatea. Mother Gaia self-sacrificed her soul for Hunamatea. They are sisters. That superimposed over Mother Gaia it's going to remain during the ascension process. This is why we don't really perceive. This is why the beings on the planet are feeling shifts, We have ascension symptoms. You've got all of the ecosystem reacting. You've got the whales doing their thing. You've got the dolphins doing their thing. You've got a lot of quote unquote behavior in our ecosystem that we've never seen before. But whenever you pan out and you go, well, we've also never been here. We've also never been in a situation, a time where the human and animal and plant beings on the surface are able to live, thrive during the ascension of the planet. Like I said, remember, normally it's required to have an extinction event. So the surface is clear of all human life, and then the planet gets reseeded. This time, that's not it. So we're actually seeing things because it's never happened. In that context, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Total sense. And understand that all whales and all dolphins, most marine life, come from Sirius B. That is a water planet of extremely high consciousness. They are sentient and they know telepathically from miles away a being that is not in alignment to source and that is also negatively intentioned. So the destruction that has happened in the past, we're not going to see to that degree, but you will see things change. And this was confirmed 2 days with the Galactic Federation of Light Summit that was discussed, this actual topic that I'm talking about. And some species that we know now will cease to exist in fifth dimension. It's just a byproduct of the ascension. There'll also be new species that come that, because of the higher frequency, they can exist with. And so there's going to be a meta. We're no longer today who we were yesterday. We're certainly not who we were last year or 10 years ago. Same for our planet. With the physical frequency of Hunamatea being fifth dimension, we align with that on our physical form. So the matter of our body is ascending from third dimension, fourth dimension to fifth dimension. Okay. So that's why we have the ascension. That's why we have the fatigue. That's why we have the dizziness, the ear ringing, the headache. That's why we have the purging, the detoxing, the change in our appetite, the craving of and good food, because we are elevating, ascending, synonymous there, to a higher dimension. So life is going to look different. And I pause here. Of course it needs to look different because what we've been doing is not working. That those beings that only want that life are going to see that life, that trajectory ends. It's not sustainable. That part is true. But those beings that understand that as we also have our own power and divinity within us, and we don't have to stay stuck in that reality, we can choose higher timelines and we can evolve and we can ascend. That's not our timeline. Our timeline is fifth dimension, very, very, very healthy environment, unity consciousness, a completely different, brighter, happier, Christ-centered, divine, intergalactic existence that I know that I personally am extremely happy about. Cannot wait. So when a lot of the talk, over the last several years in anticipation of what's happening, right? And so for us to be able to get these downloads and act upon them and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we have assisted elevating humanity. We have assisted Hunamatea. We've assisted Mother Gaia in her process and the ascension to Hunamatea. That's just so invaluable. It's so huge. I'm incredibly humbled that we've been able to do this, and we look into it no longer needs to be done. The energetic connection to the light beings that are ascending is shared. It's shared. It's palpable. So when we are going through it, Huna Matea goes through it. When we have gone through it in the past, Mother Gaia has gone through it. That is a energy exchange. The Huna Matea soul existed in the Lemuria age. This is her rebirth. This is her reincarnation. And so we will be on the matter, the surface, new Lemuria. And the trajectory of what we have known as Mother Gaia, well, that goes away. That actual old Earth is what I call it. That old Earth implodes in about 1,000 years, and that time there's been some time travelers that came back that talk about life on that dimension, and then from that source creator, and that's the information that I've got. I think from so we're very, very happy to not be on that trajectory. It's why we really implore people to tune into their inner knowing, their gnosis, remember on a soul level why they were put here, and do the work to allow them to ascend to come with us to fifth dimension. I know it's not in everyone's soul contract. I accept that. I also accept that not every being that we see walking around has a soul. I accept that. But those that do are the ones that I really want, and Source has pushed to try to connect to enable them, empower them to make better choices in their highest and best good, and not to just keep going along with the sheep, because the sheep are going. So the star seeds and the light workers have been getting these downloads. They have been getting called to do this work. It didn't just start. I've interacted with people that have been doing grid work for decades, but it's one thing when you have like one person in Australia and one person in New Zealand and like two in California, doing the work, and maybe like a half dozen in China, Tibet. It's a lot different whenever you have thousands in every country doing this work. So again, knowledge is power, frequency is power. Understanding what our frequency is, it's super powerful. Taking our power back and using it for the greater good. We are literally, in our good intentions, with our sovereign soul, helping to elevate, ascend humanity. It's beautiful. I don't see a downside. So the grid realigning that came through at first, I didn't fully appreciate that it's something that's really a consistent process. Did see that we would realign, and within short order, it was undone. And so more downloads came in on how to seal and how to protect and how to make it a more powerful realignment. And that is what we've been doing. It's profound in a very simple way that we have, through our intentions, pushed the timeline forward, because we are proving Source, we are proving to the universe that we are willing to not just sit back and wait for someone to come along and do this work for us, or wait for the planet to do this work by herself. We're willing to help. We're willing to put ourselves out there, and we're willing to exert that energy. And we're not doing it for any other reason other than we are called to. We are answering the call. Now, obviously, we want very, very much for all light beings to be in a better dimension, be in a dimension where we're not targeted, where we're not pulled to be a in a duality state, but that we're called to be in a unity state. All of those things are definitely weighing in on the whys that we do it. But if this being that I'm in cease to exist tomorrow, I'm so extremely happy that I've spent the last 10 months doing this work, because I know it means something. It's palpable. It can be felt energetically through all those that are tuned in, that it can be seen with those that have eyes to see. So the positive intention has compelled many, many divine abilities to this self-fulfilling aspect of the light worker and the starseed. You're called to help guide humanity into the next dimension. And so if you're interested in this sounds like something that just really speaks to your soul. This video will have a few links. It's going to have the link to the first video in case you missed it. It's going to have the link to quantum energy transformation Telegram room, which is where you can come if you want to schedule your energy session. That's going to clear out all the negative energy and allow that frequency to rise, which allows you to start to do this work. You can also come into Healing Disclosures on Telegram. That's our general entry point, where the only admission criteria is that you are in alignment to source and you have a soul. And once you're there, you've pretty much navigated things yourself. You can decide for yourself, like, does this feel good? Does this feel like it's for me? Do I have a calling to have an energy clearing? Do I have a calling to do this work? Is this my family? Is this my crew that's called out to me? A long, long time ago, when I was pushed to start my YouTube channel, and then I had my energy clearing, I was not ever, ever, ever trained to public speak or anything broadcasting or anything like that. And it's all been blessings. It's all been a divine channel. It's all been a gift from Source Creator, Mother Sophia, my guides. Now, I was given the download a long time ago that my vocal velocity and the frequency of my voice would be heard by soul family members who share that frequency, because we've had multiple lives together. And I was like, I hear you. And my earthly body said, we'll see. We shall see. And it was immediately given to me that those that comment on my YouTube videos, 99% of the time are going to be crew members. They're going to be soul family members. They're going to be those that know they're here for a bigger purpose. And this is going to be their window of opportunity to find out all the things that they've been wondering about them. So we're really just confirmation of what you felt in your own soul. If you have felt this calling, don't be shy. Act on it. At this point, gosh, what do we have to lose? So at the very minimum, you clear out all the negative energy and you allow yourself to become in balance and in harmony. And you feel the physical and energetic positive effects of that at the very least. And I think that's wonderful. I'm, of course, biased, but it's also a really good community because we embody unity consciousness. We are very compassionate and accepting. There's those statements that you may have made in other rooms where you got ostracized or you got kicked out, got banned. You got told that this isn't the space for that. We have these conversations in my group. I do a very, very good job, I feel like, with my admins of keeping the fear porn out of our room and really keeping it what we can confirm through source and what is in our highest and best good. And then it's free will choice on your point on what you want to do with that information and what you want to contribute and what you want to have. And so people have their vision, their abilities, and they don't have anywhere to discover what does that even mean and how can I cultivate it? How can I grow them? How can I safeguard my energy? And so we discuss all that. It's because we've been through it. We're not experts. We're just here living it, embodying it to the best of our ability and helping our fellow brothers and sisters. That is the basis of healing disclosures. When we come upon truth, I share it. That's my mission from Source Creator, because there's just not enough access to it. That's why this channel gets shadow banned. That's why I'm constantly clear my channel of negative cords and attachments and curses and hexes. But it doesn't stop me. I've never made one single cent off of YouTube. I don't have the followers, nor does it matter. I have, on the flip side, been able to engage with so many of my soul family. This is how they find me. So please, if this resonates with you, drop into one of those, drop my other videos. Possibly just going through the videos will help you get to where you feel more confident and more grounded and less crazy. We don't use that term. So yeah, this was a lot of information that I didn't expect when I first started going into it. I really just wanted to share how our rise in frequency can help heal the planet. And it became this wealth of information that really proved that we've been moving the timeline along at a good clip. Matter of fact, whenever I do certain, my intention is to collapse the timeline, and I started doing that this year. And now I get guided that the collapse that would occur with my meditations is negligible because we are so close to that fifth dimensional trajectory. And so I don't say by myself. I'm quite certain I'm not the only person on the planet that was trying to collapse the timeline, but I did set the intention, and I absolutely did help. And it's really that simple. You have the intention to help your fellow humanity. This is a great way to do it. You don't have to travel unless you want to. You don't have to go out and put your face on a platform unless you want to. You can do it completely sovereign in your own space, in your own time, in your own energy, and have respect. And it's a matter of intention. We have many, many, many beings powerful, and they're just recognizing what they're able to do. And this is just the beginning. So a lot of us have come from a space and time where we were really humanitarian projects, and we really got those fires going, and you really want to help humanity. So whenever you get to this point, you realize what's going to crumble is not going forward, doesn't need to be fixed. Don't need to put any energy into that. What will be in fifth dimension is where we need to put our energy. And getting us there is where we need to put our energy. And so for us, for Delphinus's crew, this was vital because a lot of us were being called to do more. And this was the more that Source gave us to do. So I hope you enjoyed this information. I know it was a lot. I'm super, super excited for the official birth takeover of Huna Matea in that fifth dimension existence. We're getting very, very close. I don't really like the word soon anymore because it's been overused and it doesn't really have a same meaning. But energetically, I feel, and many, many, many people have felt, it's really on the cusp of huge change because the old non-serving ways are crumbling. They cannot exist in the frequency we are creating, that we are allowing to be the predominant frequency of this wonderful, beautiful light being planet. So thank you for joining me today on Disclosures. Please come check us out in one of our Telegram groups. And I hope you have a great day. Look forward to seeing you next time.